Okay, so between SummerSlam to Backlash, like I knew, yeah, this build-up's gonna be very bad. So I'm pretty sure this thoughts video is gonna be one of my shortest thoughts on this build-up to a pay-per-view match, to a pay-per-view event. So don't be surprised if that happens because there's so much little time they have in order to build all these matches up, and they only have 2 hours as opposed to Raw's 3 hours to counteract everything. That does make everything more focused and whatnot, but it also doesn't allow character development, which is a very big major problem with some of these angles. Like, okay, let's get things started. Like, let's go with the women's division 6 pack challenge elimination match. It's the first one ever, so kudos to that. They introduced the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Tag Team Championship. And let me go on a brief tangent here, but I know this relates to the build-up of the video, like the Universal title did. So yeah, but like, okay, I was given flack because I expressed my distaste for how the SmackDown Women's Championship and Tag Team titles were because they were not unique. They didn't stand out. The only thing that kind of made it better was that it was blue and silver. At least that makes the tag team belts look more better than the penny belts. You know, those pennies that they like to say was the original tag team belt, even though they could have just called it the World Tag Team belts. Like, I'm wondering, like, why didn't they just bring back the World Tag Team Championships? You know, that one that helped build the company to where it is today, and you reboot everything. No, okay, yeah. Screw our history, screw our pride. Let's reboot everything. Then we got the women's championship, which looks exactly like looks like the women's title on Raw. Oh, by the way, they're now calling them the Raw Tag Team Belts and the Raw Women's Championship. So yeah, very creative here. Why not just call the SmackDown one the Women's World Championship and SmackDown the World Tag Team Championship instead of just adding a name and then just bring and make flat bland designs with just different colors? Because that's what they were. They were mirroring off of the Raw's belts and just changed their color because 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 the creative team hates you. Let's just go with that. I'm pretty sure that's their reason. So I was not impressed by them. Like, I did like the fact that they weren't as bad as the Universal belt or as bad as the pennies. But I don't like these designs on the fact that they don't stand out. It makes the Intercontinental title a little more noticeable. I can give them that and the U.S. belt, though of course the U.S. belt won't be around for a bit since it's going to be on a 23-day vacation on honeymoon with Lana and Rusev, according to them. So yeah. So back to what I was saying. So Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Naomi, Natalia, and Nikki Bella, with the exception of Eva Marie since she's currently suspended, they're all going to compete in a 6 pack elimination challenge match for the newly to crown the first ever women's championship. And there's not really much to talk about here. Like, they've barely been given any build. Like on the final SmackDown before Backlash, they were given an open form, but then it quickly went into a cat fight. So not surprised there. So let me go into to what I believe is fan perception versus the corporate perception. WWE fans want Becky Lynch to win because, let's be honest, Becky Lynch deserves it, and she's incredibly talented, very over with the fans, and, well, clearly entertaining. And corporate, however, is reportedly interested in making Nikki Bella the first women's champion. Now we know what the deal was made regarding John Cena and AJ Styles. If AJ Styles beats me, can you get my girlfriend, who I told repeatedly over and over and over and over that I don't want to get married and have kids because my wife left me last time and took my kids, so I'm kind of butthurt about everything and I don't want to go through that again. Like, I can still understand the whole I don't want to get married kind of thing, but the way Cena has come across about it is kind of being a real jerk about it. So and I get why Nikki wants to get married, and also the debate about kids thing, but I don't know. Um, but Cena doesn't really try to get like I'm pretty sure he did give her the explanation. I don't watch Total Divas, but but from what I've gathered, he sounds kind of like a jerk about it instead of being the understanding. Like I know you want to get married, but I have these problems to go through. Like I just don't feel comfortable about it. Like instead of saying that, I'm just saying no, I don't want to get married. Okay. Oh no, I don't want children either. Okay. So now we know what the deal was regarding John Cena taking the loss at SummerSlam. Make Nikki Bella the champion of the SmackDown division. I mean, like, everyone was hoping that Becky Lynch was going to get that big push because, well, she was the most popular. And Carmella turned heel, like, out of nowhere. Like, it was surprising. But the reason for it was kind of sad. Like, maybe they could have done this Carmella expresses pent up frustration with the return of Nikki Bella like you know what Paige did with the Paige Bomb promo she cut where she says, "Oh, Nikki Bella's back. Oh, great." So basically, the Power Couple's going to be running SmackDown, while Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon are just going to let them do whatever they want because Daniel Bryan is going ahead and being family with John Cena and Nikki Bella, and like Shane McMahon is just a McMahon, so just expect that. So they could have done that, but no, they decided instead of doing the interesting route that would have made Carmella interesting, since her debut, they've been trying to make her an Enzo Amore clone, which has failed miserably. And Naomi, Natalia, Becky Lynch, and Alexa Bliss, they're just there. Like, Alexa Bliss did get a shot at Daniel Bryan, where she says that Bryan was a trophy wife, so they're like, haha, you can't attack me because because I'm a woman. Even though Sasha Banks has been pushing for intergender matches, so that could end disastrously if she runs her mouth again if WWE ever was to approve of such a thing. And plus, this isn't the ruthless aggression era anymore where the male wrestlers would beat the women. And plus, Daniel Bryan is too humble about everything, so he wouldn't do such a thing. Even as a heel, I don't really see him doing that. But anyways, Becky Lynch, I really hope she wins this match. But I'm pretty sure Nikki Bella's gonna win because, well, it's management. They say, well, we got AJ Styles for you guys. You can't have both, even though we really could. And plus, everybody would pay to see Becky Lynch to be women's champion. And I'm pretty sure Carmella turned heel because Eva Marie got suspended, and then they had to change plans at the last minute. Like, Carmella, go heel. Okay, we got that. Okay, now we got American Alpha versus Heath Slater and Rhino for the tag team championship, for the new SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So Heath Slater has been given this big push ever since the draft, where he doesn't get drafted, and they start building him up and trying to be this free agent. And he goes ahead, has a couple of matches on SmackDown, has one match on Raw that wasn't really much of a match, more like a kick to the head, and then victory for Jinder Mahal. And look how Jinder Mahal is doing on Raw. Bad decision there. Um, and then Heath Slater went ahead and honestly won me over when he was willing to stand up to Brock Lesnar and willing to fight him, even though everyone knows that that would have been suicidal, because that's just asking for kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me. But no, Brock Lesnar decides, but Heath Slater decides, yeah, I'm gonna stand up to the beast. And then Brock Lesnar speaks, which is a rarity, and okay, let me just go on a brief tangent on this one. Brock Lesnar says a line that reportedly was not scripted, saying Brock Lesnar doesn't give a shit about his kids, Heath Slater's kids, when he sympathizes with Heath Slater saying, I got kids too, man. And like, when Brock Lesnar says that, it was reported that that was not planned. Brock Lesnar got away with saying that because he's a part-timer, therefore we can't punish him. And I'm thinking, wow, way to set the employee model. Well, good job, WWE. Like that's really a good job. Like, way to set the standard here. Like part timers, like wow, I'm surprised no one else is demanding to be a part time guy. So Brock Lesnar doesn't get in trouble for that line because he's a part-timer, and even though they could do like two options, like make him lose a match, nah, that's too obvious. Uh, Force him to cough up money like he really needs it. Like he's set for life already, so a few $250,000 is not really going to damage it. So, but no, he's a part timer, therefore he's excluded from it. He's exempt from it. So Heath Slater has been trying to get this contract with SmackDown Live and stop doing Raw because the SmackDown Live was trying to get some momentum against Raw, which they have been doing for the past month. Like Raw only has 2 victories over SmackDown so far, but I'll get to that in the Clash of Champions build-up video. So American Alpha has been on this rising momentum, and everyone loves them. And that's kind of this match that everyone is split about. That's kind of the match I think everyone's going to be split about. Like, they like American Alpha, but they also like Heath Slater. And, like, who are you going to go with? Like, when this tournament was first announced, like, this is what happened. They did a tournament to do this. Like, American Alpha went through Breezango and the Usos. I'll get to them in a minute. The Heath Slater and Rhino went through the Hype Bros and the Headbangers. Also the Vaudevillains, if you want to go with them as well. And well, yeah, that was the entire tag team division. Like, wow, like that's the entire tag team division. Like, half of them are jobbers, and the other half are, well, one's rising, so I'll give them that. The Usos are stale, and the Hype Bros are just the Hype Bros. Let's go with that. So, American Alpha has rising, and now they have one little problem. The Usos. Since the Usos attacked them during their match, and they lost under 30 seconds, like someone counted on and wrote it on Wikipedia, saying it was 28 seconds, so wow, the Usos just got humiliated big time. So the Usos are pissed off and they attack American Alpha and they officially cross over to the dark side. And their reason for saying why they crossed to the dark side is the same reason that everyone wants Roman Reigns to say. That they've been busting their ass for so many years, trying to get the respect from the fans, and then when the fans don't like them and boo them constantly, they said they're sick of it. They're sick of this disrespect, so they're going to do things on their own and not cater to the fans. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything everyone wants Roman Reigns to tell them, and that's pretty much everything that Cena wants to tell. That people want Cena to say to them. Remember 2012 when The Rock beat John Cena at WrestleMania 28 and the fans were screaming, yes, 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 scream at us. Tell us you hate us. We really want that. We really want you to hate me. Like we really want you to hate us. So, can you please lash at us? Lash out on us? And Cena doesn't do that. And much to the hatred of everybody. And, well, that's where history was lied at. Brock Lesnar came back and kicked John Cena's ass. And then I'll get to Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at Extreme Rules in a future video. Sorry, like I'm trying to build up time here because the whole shortage of build up and lack thereof. So Heath Slater was given this build up as well on SmackDown. Like they did an interview with Renee Young and Rhino at Heath Slater's home, which was awkward, funny, and comedic. And then Heath Slater cut a promo right before SmackDown Live went on the air with Heath Slater's family, since, well, he only has 2 kids and a wife, not 7, as they like to say, because Heath Slater's an idiot. The funny but adorable idiot, like people like to say. And Rhino's there constantly, and they act like buddy-buddy. It's like, it reminds me of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, but not without that cool factor. It was more like that dork factor that you just want to, like, wow, that is so cheesy and not something you could expect from them. But when Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho do it, it's just hilarious. So, like, remember when Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens won a match on SmackDown? Kevin Owens just jumped onto Chris Jericho and hugged him tight like this, and it was like, oh wow, that is just hilarious. Like, I couldn't imagine Kevin Owens doing that. That's actually hilarious. This guy is so awesome. So, and people are also wondering, why didn't Heath Slater's promo air on SmackDown? Like, that could have been the opening match, that could have been the opening show promo, and the women's forum, which amounted to nothing, could have been the middle of the show. So they could have done that, but clearly they didn't want to. So, moving on. Now we get The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. The Miz cut a scathing, hate-filled, frustrated pipe bomb promo on SmackDown's Talking Smack, which airs after Tuesday night after SmackDown Live on the WWE Network exclusively. So there's your plug. So WWE, give me money since I just plugged your network in. I'm just kidding. Though I wouldn't complain. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler gets involved, but let me go back to the Miz's promo. Like, the Miz went ahead and cut this promo about the independent scene against Daniel Bryan, telling Bryan to quit his job and go to bingo halls. Which honestly, and Daniel Bryan retorted with saying, if they cleared me, I would come back. And like, then he got a report that WWE hasn't officially closed the door on Daniel Bryan's wrestling career, and I'm thinking, do not do that. Like, okay, there's a difference between Shawn Michaels' back injury, Bryan's neck, like those will heal over time. But brain damage is something completely different. And concussions and seizures. Those are completely different. This affects you psychologically. Like, we all know what happened to the last person that had brain damage. You know, he was called the Rabid Wolverine. He was World Heavyweight Champion. You know, that guy who is now considered the Voldemort of wrestling. He who must not be named. Okay? So, after Miz's scathing promo gets really popular on the internet and everyone's on Miz's side for once and not on Daniel Bryan's side, which is surprising because nowadays a lot of fans tend to be very passionate regarding Daniel Bryan, and by passion I mean tends to be like, we don't like John Cena because he's the face that runs the place at this point. Make Daniel Bryan the face that runs the place and buries everybody at this point. Wait a second, that means we're fighting for the same thing we hate. Wow, we're hypocrites. Like that made me lose a lot of interest in Daniel Bryan. Like I was still a huge fan of him, but I didn't hate Daniel Bryan because he has no control over his fans. Daniel Bryan tried everything he could, but like he couldn't convince them. They wanted to see him, and they wanted him to be basically the WWE, whereas John Cena acts like he's the WWE. So yeah. So then Miz goes on this triad on SmackDown the week afterwards, and Dolph Ziggler gets involved, and like, wow, they're really doing this. Like, Miz was on fire, and then Dolph Ziggler cuts him off. And Dolph Ziggler does mention that Miz makes a lot of good points, so they could tease an alliance one day down the road regarding that. But ultimately, it's another Miz versus Dolph Ziggler feud, and I'm thinking, we've seen this a million times. Like, you have the big pipe bomb promo you cut last week, and everyone wants to see you rant about the injustice of management and the injustice of the independent scenes, since WWE tends to favor them now instead of the homegrown talent, well, with the exception of Roman Reigns, because Miz hasn't gotten a WWE title opportunity since 2011. Like, I don't recall the other time Miz got a championship match outside 2011. So, like, Miz could have been given some momentum, could have been, like, in contention with the world title later down the road, hopefully. But right now he's Intercontinental Champion, and that would have made it too predictable. So Dolph Ziggler is hinting that he might go, like, everyone, like, Ryan Delbert, I think, or was it Eric Bastian of Bleacher Report, or was it Dr. Chris Miller on Bleacher Report? They said, one of them said, I would like to see Dolph Ziggler go through a mental breakdown if he loses to The Miz, because Dolph Ziggler kept saying that if he loses this match against The Miz at Backlash on SmackDown, that he probably has to think things through and probably and will probably lose his mind most likely. So I would be interested to see what will become of Dolph Ziggler should he lose the Intercontinental Championship match. And Miz is on this hot streak, and like the minute he gets this big hot streak, the Intercontinental title's taken away. Like everyone is paying more attention to the Intercontinental title than ever before, as compared to the WWE World Championship. Like I'll get to that when I get to that, but like ultimately Miz needs this victory because he's on this huge wave of momentum, and like he's the second guy on SmackDown Live's roster that has the biggest momentum going in, and the other one's AJ Styles, and I'll get to him in a minute after I deal with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, so I'll get to that. So I'm hoping Miz wins this match and retains the Intercontinental title, and they really do something forward with him. And when he eventually drops it, Miz just snaps again and cuts another pipe bomb promo style thing, and then goes ahead and contends for the World Championship. Like it could happen with this Bryant's extension. Now we get to Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. This was reported a week before SummerSlam. Like we even got teased of it on SmackDown Live where Randy Orton is walking back up the stage, and the Wyatt family, specifically Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt, cross the paths and stare each other down, and then just walk past each other, hinting that yeah they're gonna feud. And really, this feud went from being interesting and to the first week when it started, when Bray Wyatt was talking about during its first week, official starting, where Bray Wyatt was talking about how Randy Orton was no longer the Viper, he was no longer the Predator, he was no longer the Legend Killer. And Randy Orton goes ahead and references all his Legend Killer matches, like specifically Cactus Jack versus Randy Orton from Backlash 2004. Kind of fitting since Backlash was happening during this sermon of the Viper promo Bray Wyatt cut. So they did that, and then afterwards and then the week later it just dissolved into this discussion of man evolution and the evolving of man and the decreasing power of the predator. And like I'm thinking like, okay, I like the philosophical talk, but can you at least speak to each other instead of talking to the camera? Like, I get you're talking to the camera, like, everyone does that. Everyone in the WWE has to do that, but, like, you're just talking to nobody. Like, you're talking to the fans, but, like, I think the fans would like to see you go at it. And I gotta give Randy Orton credit. Like, he got busted the hell open, bleeding his head off from Brock Lesnar, and he comes back 2 nights later into the ring. Like, he doesn't wrestle, but he comes back up and about with no concussion. Like, I gotta say, man, you are a soldier to to go through that experience. Brock Lesnar busting you open far deeper than reportedly should have been, so people can still make the argument about the whole Brock Lesnar is too stiff. I mean, like if Undertaker wasn't convincing enough. So Bray Wyatt discusses how man has evolved and the animal kingdom is now just toys for the humans. And Bray Wyatt says this line where he says he's God and says he's the evolution of man, and I'm thinking like, honestly, I can actually believe that. Like humanity has become so arrogant in recent memory and mostly politically correct, and which is sad. So and a lot of humans feel entitled to like, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want this censored, I want this taken away, I don't want any of this, I don't want any of that. Like the social justice warriors, which I will never want to talk about because they will eat me alive. Even though I could, and I really want to, but I'll let Alpha Omega Sin do that job. Since, well, I don't want my comment to be flooded with hate yet. And I don't think I could survive, my channel could survive that right now. So, yeah. But, like, Bray Wyatt, he really needs to win this match and this feud overall, because, well, he was in need of momentum since he was initially looking like he was going to be in a triple threat match with Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler to SummerSlam that never materialized, and then he's not on SummerSlam at all after being on it 3 times in a row. So yeah, I want Bray Wyatt to win. Now we get to the main event: Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Championship. Have you noticed that there's only 5 matches on this card? Like, there's a 3-hour pay-per-view, and there's only 5 matches. So either we're going to get a bunch of filler, oh, and along with a pre-show most likely, so we're going to get a bunch of filler, a pre-show kickoff match that wasn't announced until the next day most likely, or on Talking Smack, and we get that. So yeah, they had to either cut an hour off, make it 2 hours, or they're going to have to make the matches really long to fill up a 3-hour show. So, Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Okay, outside of the match between AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler, where if Dolph Ziggler had won, he would have been inserted into the match, making a triple threat match, leaving The Miz to do something else, probably with Apollo Crews again. And that's pretty much where the relevancy ended. Like, afterwards, it just got comedic. Like, Dean Ambrose trips AJ Styles into the ring ropes and hits his groin and plays with AJ Styles, excruciating the pain, and then shakes his hand and bowing before him in a mocking way. And I really am not happy about this. Like, did WWE, since they like to bring up the club a lot, did WWE took one look at the Bullet Club when they did a comedic moment and said, that's the club, that's what got them over. Instead of, wait, we need to take an in-depth look into them. Like, that can't be the only reason they got over. Like, that's the New Day. But there's a reason why the Bullet Club got so over and it's been around for so long so far. And the only people who know are Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and AJ Styles, and WWE doesn't seem to want to ask them, oh, what was the experience of Bullet Club? Like, we want information to make our own Bullet Club. No, they just look at that, said, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are mocking the New Day, so that must be what they're doing, since they really did that. To hint at a potential feud if they ever come to WWE, which will be awesome if the New Day's still around at that time. Like, they took one look at that and said, that's the Bullet Club. Let's make it our Bullet Club. And I really don't want to get into Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson's retirement angle they pulled on Monday Night Raw. I'll get to that in the Clash of Champions build-up thoughts video. Oh my god, that segment was horrible. But, I digress. AJ Styles went from being this snarky, arrogant, now beating John Cena, believes he's the face that runs the place, and now has the announcer saying he's the face that runs the place in order to make it look more relevant, to this over paranoid, do not record me, do not take a picture of me, do not show any embarrassing moments for me, like, and a bully. Like, I get the bully part because he now believes he's the face that runs the place since he beat John Cena, who originally kept saying he's the face that runs the place since, that's what faces like to say, that's what the good guys like to say when they talk to people, like, I run this place, so you have to go through me. You really think people are going to cheer for that? With that mentality, Cena? So, that's pretty much where everything came to an end. Like, the build-up comes to an end. Like, it ends on the final confrontation before Backlash. AJ Styles kicks Dean Ambrose in the groin, so... And it ended very awkwardly. Like, it looked like something was supposed to happen, something else was supposed to happen, and then it just cut to Chris Lee Knows Best, I think. At 10, at 10, like, you notice every time it hits 10, they instantly go to the next show. So it's completely different from Raw, where they're allowed to go overtime, but SmackDown Live isn't. So there's that. So there's nothing really much to say about Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles. I'm just hoping AJ Styles wins because, well, with this big build, with all this build up AJ Styles has been given since beating John Cena, something that's a rarity, and also winning the feud, at least so far. Like word's been going around, when Cena gets back, he's gonna continue his feud with AJ Styles and most likely do finish the job and bury him. But let's hope that he doesn't do that and just lets AJ Styles win this feud, because screw the children for once. Screw the overprotectiveness. We need to do something different. So, those are my thoughts on the Backlash pay-per-view build-up. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.